Hey, Fumble Fever Nation, it is almost game day coming upon us Monday. The national championship is coming up soon. Finally got here a little bit later than most national championship games, of course. We have the Bayou Bengals, that's how I'm going to distinguish them, taking on the Clemson Tigers. Should be a pretty epic matchup, Dylan, and really exciting stuff. Pretty evenly matched teams again. I think a lot of people are really excited for this one, and LSU, of course, playing a de facto home game, being so close to Baton Rouge. With all that being said, we do have some keys to the game, so you guys at home can distinguish things and know what you need to be looking out for. We're going to do that for you, both teams. Of course, we're going to do 3 keys to the game for both teams. We're going to start with the Clemson Tigers. Dylan, I'll let you take it away.
My 3 keys for the game for Clemson are they got to get pressure on Joe Burrow. They can't let him have all day to throw. Or he's going to find the open receiver.
Always,
yeah. That kind of shows with his 80% passing rating, or almost 80%.
And 55 touchdowns.
Yeah, very impressive. The second key is score early. Don't wait till the second half to score. Yeah, you got to score early on LSU.
Absolutely.
And win the turnover battle.
Okay. Pretty similar, I believe, with mine and yours. I'm going to start with the score early part because in a de facto home game for LSU, Clemson needs to quiet the crowd early. They need to get in business. Clemson's had have made a business here lately of starting games pretty slow. We saw Ohio State. That was obviously a heck of a comeback, but they're not going to be able to get down 16 points to LSU and think they're going to come back again and beat LSU the same way that they've. I know they're a second half team, but they have got to get out and jump out in front real quick and start scoring early on LSU. Another key to the game, like you said, with pressuring Joe Burrow, I think for Clemson is making Joe Burrow run. Make him do it with his legs. You've already seen what he can do through the air. That's the reason he became Heisman. He's been a more typical pocket passer throughout most of this season. He only averages about 3 yards rushing when he does take off. Out of 101 attempts, he's only got about 300 and something rushing yards for the whole season. So make him do it with his legs, because once he is forced to start running, you know that you've done something right. Everybody's covered up downfield. You're not giving up big plays, and you can take Joe Burrow down and get your defense off the field. And then the last thing that Clemson needs to do, and this is going to sound really simple, but it's going to be pretty key, is basically just score touchdowns. They can't get into the red zone and have to go for field goals because Clemson's not going to make those field goals. We saw that in the game against Ohio State.
Yeah, they can't do like Ohio State did and just kick field goals.
And you can't.
That's why they lost that game.
Exactly. That is one reason why Ohio State lost that game, is because Clemson's defense held Ohio State to force them to kick field goals. About 3 times they got in the red zone, and Ohio State had to settle for a field goal. Clemson cannot have that same issue going against LSU and going against this powerful offense. They're going to have to outscore them. To do that, they're going to have to get touchdowns. All right, so those are the keys for Clemson. Let's get to the keys for LSU, Don.
My first one for LSU is defense has to play like they've been playing for the second half of the season. They've been averaging 16 points per game on defense and averaging 270 yards per game on for the yardage per game. That's 4th overall in the college football. And then the second one is they got to keep Joe Burrow clean, of course. Keep him, just keep Clemson from sacking them, because they're one of the top pass rushers in the country.
Oh, so literally clean. Like
no
grass stains.
And you got to get Edwards-Helaire involved with the passing and running game.
Passing and running, I couldn't agree more. So my keys for LSU is, like you said, I'll go ahead and piggyback on what you just said about Clyde Edwards-Helaire, is that you have to get him involved more. LSU is a much more dynamic offense when he's involved, not only in the running game, but in the passing game as well. Get him out quickly with some short passes, screens, whatever you got to do to get him going. They're going to be a lot more efficient. And then secondly, on the flip side, on the defensive side of the ball, the running game for Clemson, you're going to have to slow down Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne is a Louisiana native. He's been waiting for a moment like this. He would love to shine from his home state and for all his family that will most likely be in attendance for this game, and everybody watching back home. When Clemson, Travis Etienne is having a bad day running, Clemson's offense is usually sputtering as well. They like to get him going, and that gets everybody else clicking on the team as well. Thirdly, this is my last key point, is that LSU is going to have to make sure that Clemson is not able to get around the edges. LSU is capable most of the time on defense to play with only 3 linebackers instead of 4, because their inside linebacker, Patrick Queen, is so fast and so speedy that he can get in and sack the quarterback like that. Just absolutely no effort at all. The way teams have attacked in the past, the way teams that scored a lot of points and got a lot of yards on them, like Ole Miss and like Alabama, the way that they were able to attack LSU is by going around the edges. LSU cannot let that happen against Clemson and their defense in the national championship game.
I agree with you.
So, if these two teams, whoever does these keys, and there's going to be a lot more keys to the game, of course, but whoever gets these keys, as we said, done right, is probably going to come away with the victory. And that being said, I think, who do you have winning this game?
I feel like this is a coin flip game.
Yeah.
It's like most of the games in the playoff game. Like Clemson and Ohio State, if they played on a different day, Ohio State would have won or Clemson would have won. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
And then I think this is the same type of game. It's a coin flip, but I'm going to go with LSU by 7.
By 7, okay. Then they're favored by 6. So if you were making betting odds, that would cover the spread. Speaking of betting odds, I want to say this. I just want to let everyone know that this national championship game, according to Caesars Sportsbook, is one of the most lopsided games in sports history. There's such a high favorite for LSU going into this game. Everyone is betting LSU. The last time they said that there was a game that was this lopsided, it was Super Bowl 48, when Denver was the heavy favorite over Seattle. Seattle won that game 48-3. I just want to remind everyone how dangerous it can be so confident. On that, I'm going to go with Clemson.
Okay. What do you think the score is going to be?
The score, I've seen a lot of predictions that have it lower than what I originally had in my head. I still think it could be a higher shootout type of game. LSU's not going to put up the same type of numbers that they do have throughout the season. It's going to be a little bit lower, but still a high score considering any team that faces Clemson usually. Yes, mid to high 30s. I'm going to say Clemson 42, LSU 38.
Okay, I can see that. I'm thinking that both teams are going to start off slow in the first half. And
think so?
Yeah, and then they're going to explode in the second half, I think.
Which would go against both of our keys to the game, because you want LSU to start fast.
Yes.
I said Clemson needs to start fast.
Yes.
But if both of them start slow, then I guess it evens itself out. We'll see how all that holds down. And we'll obviously recap this game coming up on our next video. I think you said it should be Tuesday, correct? So our next video that we'll post Tuesday, we'll recap the game from the night before. And we may have a punishment for whichever one of us loses in our prediction.
Yes, we haven't decided yet, but we're going to have a punishment.
Okay, there will be a punishment.
There will be a punishment.
We do assure you, so you'll want to tune in on Tuesday for that one. We do thank you, of course, for watching, as you guys have been. The support has been great, and we do encourage you to continue to follow us on YouTube and to follow us on Twitter as well at Fumble Fever, Dylan.
And punch the like button and leave a comment down below.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.